Okay, we're live on YouTube. Okay, that's working.
Teaching notes, grammar teaching, save as.
Okay, so I've put the dates up on the website. I've put the I got all excited this morning because I thought we'd had our first subscription, but it was just David doing a test post.
I always check to see whether we got that Twitter glitch.
Right, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Right.
Right, that is what should be done now. It should say Padlet 1, 2, and 3.
It does. I'll just check the button works. Stayed at the burger on the.
I don't know what happened there. All the pages were done, but they hadn't linked for some reason.
The other thing, David, is putting the
to help you bits. Yeah.
The activity onto the Padlet. Yeah.
Okay, we are
ready to go.
To rock, I think. What's the game?
The red dog jumped crazily.
Right. Did you manage to get the car recovered, David?
Yeah, a long story. It's a car I'm borrowing from a friend.
All right, great. Okay, so we've got 14 classes, which is not a bad turnout.
Excellent.
So I'm just going to wait a few seconds and then we'll let them all in. Okay, we ready to rock?
Yep.
As ever.
Good. All right, off we go. We're just waiting for one class to join. It seems to be stuck in the waiting room. We'll just bear with us a second. We'll get started in a moment. And I think we're all in. Right, we'll get going. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Teaching Live grammar demo session. Teaching Live, if you've not joined us before, is an online weekly English session. We do writing and we do grammar. So this session is focusing on the grammar side of things. If you want to join us next term, I'll just show you what we're doing in grammar over the 10 sessions. So here you can see we're doing a whole series of lessons on word classes, phrases and clauses, sentences, joins and links, harder punctuation, cohesion, formal and informal speech and writing, and active and passive words. We pretty much cover most of the essential parts of grammar that Key Stage 2 children need over the course of a term. So today's session is just going to be a taster of the kind of style of sessions that we do. And we'll take it a little bit more slowly than we normally do, because children won't know the website, won't know the structure that we use. So every week when we run our lessons, we follow exactly the same pattern. So children very quickly get used to what we're doing and how it all flows. So I'm now going to introduce our team. I'm John Sutton. I used to be a teacher a long time ago, and I work mostly with schools doing website stuff and blogging. And below me on the screen is Pi Corbett. How are you this morning, Pi?
I'm in peak condition, looking forward to a blast at some grammar. I actually quite like grammar. I think most children do. It's interesting to know how a language works. Over the 10 sessions, we start easy. So today is a relatively straightforward session, but it does get harder and harder and more complex. But in essence, we sort of cover everything. So some of the sessions, if you were in year 4 or year 5, there will be a couple of things that are an introduction, but most of it is stuff that you will have been taught, but because it's a bit tricky, no harm in revisiting. So I'm all good. And I was a teacher. I was a head teacher. They even allowed me to be an inspector at one particular point, but I don't tell anybody that. I'm also a writer. I've written and edited over 250 books. Mark you, some of those were quite small readers for children. So I've done a lot in education. And
Pi, despite writing so many books, I do really, really enjoy picking out those little grammatical errors that even seasoned writers like yourselves make.
Absolutely. It's tricky stuff that we're engaged in. And you're absolutely right. I still make mistakes. So you'll have some of that, some bits of fun where John or I will make an error, and we love to pick each other up on errors. And David, how are you? The man whose car broke down.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, a little tale yesterday. I had a bit of an issue with a car, not mine, but someone else's. But that's an entirely different story for another day. But yes, when I'm used to having kind of 3 screens, a couple of computers, and some silence around me, working in the background on TeachingLive. Yesterday, I was in a car, in a Mini, actually, so in a very small car in the back on one mobile phone, which was a bit, crazy, but all good today. Back in the studio.
It all worked. The most important.
It did. Technology is an amazing thing, isn't it? And I think we're showing that today in what we're doing in terms of beaming into so many classrooms. The children that are with us today, they're going to be with, they're with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other children. And we always love what the children produce. I can't wait to see what they get up to today.
Yeah, and we've got some newcomers, but we've also got some old folk we know. Bolton Parish, Farsley, Farfield were on yesterday. So some new people, some children we've worked with before. So shall we crack on and get going, John?
Absolutely.
Okay, we always start with a little bit of a game. Now, it might help, John, if you got the first red bit up in the teacher's note, so everybody can see the game that we're about to play. You don't need the computer for this. Just watch the screen. David and I'll model how to play the game, and then John will get 4 minutes up on the clock. And in pairs, partner A, partner B, you'll play the game and we'll go silent. So John is now trying to get here we go. There it is. So just to warm ourselves up with a feel for sentences, but also different word classes, what their job is, their function. So partner A is going to use the word the and an adjective. So I might say the enormous. Partner B then says a noun. So you might say the enormous cheese. And then partner A has got to do a verb. So partner A might say jumped. And partner B does an adverb, jumped madly. So just warming ourselves up with those word classes with a bit of a silly game. And after 2 minutes, you swap roles over. So we'll just model that. David, do you want to be partner A or partner B?
Well, I'll start as partner A. I'll probably end up being partner B at some point as we switch. But yeah, let's go with partner A to start with.
Okay, so you kick off giving me the and an adjective.
So I'm going to go with the crusty.
Okay, the crusty. Well, the first thing that comes into my mind is loaf. In other words, loaf of bread. But I'm going to be a bit playful with it, and I'm going to go for cloud. The crusty cloud. Now you've got to do a verb and get some action going.
Well, the typical thing would be to say something like drifted or plummeted.
Oh dear. The crusty cloud plummeted. Now I've got an adverb, plummeted cautiously. I don't know if you can plummet cautiously, but we've got a lovely sentence there. Okay. Hit me with another one, David.
The colourful.
Okay, I'm going to alliterate. So I'm going to go the colourful cruise ship.
Cruise ship. I was thinking of crawled. I'm thinking of the alliteration, keeping that going. Crawled. Can a cruise ship crawl? Mine can. Yes. Crawled.
The colourful cruise ship crawled contentedly. Okay, give me another one, and then we'll swap roles.
Okay, because the great thing about writing is it doesn't matter if you're the author, you're in charge. So I'm going to go with the. So we've had colours. Let's go with the dim.
Oh, the dim. I was tempted to say the dim sum, but the dim. The dim. I think the dim car.
The dim car.
What did he do?
Oh, that could crawl as well, couldn't it, from me yesterday?
Yeah.
The dim car shuddered.
Shuddered happily. And then after 2 minutes, you swap roles. John will put a sand timer. What do they call, John? Clock thing. What's it called?
Just a timer
on the screen, and remind you all to swap roles. So we just momentarily do that. So I'll try and catch David out. So I'm going to give him the surprising.
The surprising. Ooh. So I'm going for a noun. The surprising. Surprising. I don't know. I was thinking present. That's too obvious. The surprising.
You can see the cogs.
Ant. Yes. I'm trying to, because from what I'm doing here, Pi, is I'm not only thinking about what I say, but I'm thinking about what you could say.
Yes.
I'm trying to not make it impossible, but I'm not trying to make it easy either.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to the surprising ant.
The surprising ant chuckled.
Chuckled.
That sounded evil to me.
I know, but that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this. Chuckled, and he's chuckled.
Evilly, menacingly.
Menacingly. That was the word I'm thinking. Menacingly.
So what we're doing is, everybody, we're going to create sentences. And we know that the adjectives tell us a bit more about the noun, build a picture for the reader. The verb gets the action going in the sentence. And then the adverb tells us, in this case, we're doing the very simple ly adverbs, and it adds to the verb and tells us how something, in this instance, how something was being done. So I think we're ready, John. It's a relatively straightforward one.
Yep. Okay. So in your partners, so partner A is going to do the adjective. Partner B is going to do the noun. Partner A does the verb. partner B does the adverb, and then halfway through I will stop you and swap you over. So that's the wrong screen. There we go. So I don't think we'll do it for 7 minutes. We'll do it for 4 minutes.
Yeah, that'll.
So
Great.
4 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'll swap you over. So we'll go quiet at this point, and you play the game in your classroom until you hear the noise that says the game is over. So off we go. Right, time to swap roles. So if you are partner B, you now become partner A. Right, that sound signifies the end of the game. So I'm going to take you to the TeachingLive website now. At this point, after the game, we launch into a series of online writing tasks. So the TeachingLive website is very easy to navigate, and if you join TeachingLive, then the children do not need to log into anything. You don't need to sign up for any accounts or anything like that. It will all just run straightforwardly through the website. So across the top of the website, you will see a green menu. Or if you're on a mobile device, you might have the menu button situated in the corner. And you need to go to along the top to sessions. And then you need to select the third item on the drop down, the taster session. So that takes you to a menu page. It will say, you'll know you're on the right page if it says Thursday, the 14th of March, grammar taster across the top. If you get lost, just go back to home, go across to sessions and choose the taster session on the menu. So here we've got a series of buttons. Padlet activity 1, Padlet activity 2, Padlet activity 3, and then the blog challenge. There's also a button to the teacher notes here, where the teacher can download a copy of the notes for the session. They get sent out in advance of every TeachingLive session anyway. And the other button that is not on this page that you will also see usually on the page is a YouTube live stream button, because we know that sometimes schools can't use Zoom, or Zoom's not working, or for whatever reason. We also run the sessions live via a YouTube live stream. So that also works really well if you're back in the days of school closures and lockdowns and things like that, where children could join via the YouTube live stream from home. So we're going to click on the top button, Padlet activity number 1, and then we'll listen to Pi, who's going to explain what is going on here. Pi.
Okay, so yeah, thanks, John. So what we're doing is we're going to rewrite these sentences to make them more effective for the reader. You can change words, you can add words in, you can take words out. So I'll take the first one and I'll have a think about it. We're focusing on the nouns and we're focusing on the adjectives. So we've got the thin, slim, slender bird stood on a leg. Now, that's not, well, there's a lot going on in there. The first thing you notice, John, is if we look at thin, slim and slender, what do you notice about those 3 adjectives?
So they all kind of mean the same thing, Pi.
They do. That's daft. It's like saying the big, enormous, humongous giant. Well, apart from anything else, all giants are big. So why are you telling me? Why are you telling me they're big? You know, I'm not silly. I know they're big. It's like saying the cold snow. Yes, all snow is cold. Mark you, if you said the hot snow, that might be more interesting, but actually impossible. So there's something there about choosing your adjectives with great care. And I often say, you know, the adjective must earn its place. It's got to tell us something that the reader didn't know. There's no point in saying the red letterbox, because in this country, all the letterboxes are red. The rusty letterbox, that might be worth saying, because it's rusty. The reader didn't know that. You can't predict that. And of course, if it's rusty, you can't open it. Therefore, your letter might arrive late. So that adjective, the rusty one, might, well, it's really earning its place in the sentence. It's having an effect. Now, bird, what do you notice about that, John? Is that creating an obvious picture in your head?
Well, no, it isn't, Pi, because a bird could be anything from a sparrow to an eagle. So
yeah,
I'm not sure, you know, the thin, slim, slender bird, I'm not sure what you're talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, we call this name it. So instead of saying the man got in the car, you might say Boris Johnson squeezed into a Skoda. So we've got the type of car, and we've got, instead of the man, Boris Johnson. So it creates a picture.
That's an image I
Now,
don't really want to have in my brain, Pi.
yeah, sorry about that. So in terms of birds standing on one leg that are very slender or thin or slim, what variety of bird might that be?
So I would go for a flamingo, Pi.
Okay, so we could say the flamingo, instead of the thin, slim, slender bird, we could just say the flamingo stood on, now it says stood on a leg. That sounds odd to me. How would you change that?
So I'd change it to one leg.
Yeah. So we've now got the flamingo stood on one leg, or even balanced itself on one leg. Focus on the bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the other sentences, you're going to rewrite them, and the bits underlined are the bits you've got to pay attention to. The rest of the sentence stays the same. So you've got the enormous giant loomed over the villagers. So you can change the adjectives, you can change the nouns. The tired, weary dog lay down, the scary animal waited on the playground, the hot flame sizzled, the nice man dashed down the nice road. And if you've got time, we're looking for a good goblin catcher who can rid our town of a big invasion of nasty goblins who will guarantee a big reward of all sorts of things. Ha! So we're trying to improve the sentences through focusing on the nouns and the adjectives. So all you're going to do in a minute is rewrite that second sentence, enormous giant loomed over the villages, or one of the others, don't have to go in order, and you're going to change in some way the bits that are underlined. And the other big thing to remember, this is grammar. So we're looking for accuracy, which means capital letter and full stop. So John, take us through Padlet 1, please.
So underneath, you'll see a button that says Padlet 1, which says click here. So if you click on that button, it will take you to the Padlet. Now, David has helpfully put the sentences on the Padlet for you. And in the bottom of the Padlet, when you unfreeze it, David, in the bottom of the Padlet, when you you will see a plus sign. And the plus sign, if you click on the plus sign, I call it a post-it note. I don't know what Padlet call it, but up pops a post-it note. In that post-it note, in the top box where it says subject, type your first name only, and then where you live. Not where you live, that's what I'm putting that, the name of your school. So because I'm not at school, so I'm not typing the name of a school. So in the top box, put your first name only, and then your school. Then click in the second box. Don't press the enter key. Use your cursor. Click in the second box where it says write something beautiful, and I'm going to write the sentence. I don't need to put enormous because giants are enormous. And I'm going to add loomed over. Now I'm leaving everything the same except for the underlined bits. And I'm going to add an adjective here. I could say frightened. I could say wary. Terrified. There we go. Terrified. Villagers. So what I've done is I have removed the first adjective because giants are enormous. I've added an adjective to describe how the villagers are feeling and behaving. And then I've made sure I've got capital letter and full stop, and I click submit. Once I've clicked submit, it goes to David for approval. And everything is read by David before it appears on the screen. So it gets moderated. So Sophia from Bolton Parish, Year 6, the unknown animal waited patiently, ready to pounce. Okay, not quite. The scary animal waited on the playground. Yeah.
We could name the animal, couldn't we?
Could name the animal. Well, if it was an unknown, then you wouldn't know what it was.
No. But it might be more powerful to say the tiger waited patiently.
The evil man dashed down the happy road. Clark from Fish Cross. Not sure. I like the first part, the evil man dashed down the happy road. Not sure about happy as an adjective there.
Matthew from Fish Cross, you have a look at your sentence. You've missed the full stop off. So you can go back and do some editing. And to do that, you see the 3 grey dots in the top left right hand corner. Click on those and there's an edit function. And we love it when people edit. So Philip, you've also got, oh yeah, you have got a full stop. Well done. Because that's often part of the problem is the cute grey koala. Aren't all koalas grey?
Yeah, grey brown. Yeah.
The bright flame sizzled. Georgie, you've got the scary but soft tiger, so that's a bit odd. You need to nip back and edit that one more. The giant glanced over the clean village. Sounds a bit odd. The clean village.
Clark has come back with the evil man dashed down the nice road. I'm not sure about this adjective here, nice. I think most teachers would
doesn't build a picture.
Would have issues with the word nice. In fact, some teachers famously ban the word nice in writing, which I'm not sure about either, but I'm not sure about. If you want to edit it, Clark, just hover over the 3 dots. You will get an edit button, and then it will get resubmitted.
Now, Isla from Fish Cross, you got the scary giant loomed over the frightened villagers. I'm not sure you need the word scary because it's looming and the villagers are frightened, therefore it must be scary. I think it might be more powerful to just say the giant loomed over the frightened villagers.
Kieran from Farsley Fastfield has gone with the muscular giant loomed over the petrified villagers. Okay. I actually quite like that, muscular. I think that works fine.
Yeah. Joshua from St. Patrick's, the big bird. I think you could name the species of bird or build a bigger picture. So try and name it.
Not sure if it's the same Kieran from Farsley Farfield. The bright pink majestic bird stood on his rough scaly leg, which I like. You need a comma between rough and scaly because you've got a list of adjectives there, 2 adjectives. So it'd be rough, comma, scaly leg.
Ibrahim, nip back to yours, Ibrahim, Fish Cross Primary, because you've got the capital letter missing and full stop missing. And so, Theo, you've got a full stop missing as well. So remember, just before you publish, reread and double check those basics. The wheelchair-bound giant loomed over the terrified travellers. Well, that's I've not heard that one before, but it's working because that's information I didn't know.
Yeah, Mukti's gone for the drooling Dalmatian lay down. So drooling and Dalmatian, yeah, there's a good use of name it there. The fluffy grey pigeon stood on one leg from Billy from Fish Cross. That works as well. And you've got the comma between fluffy and grey. You don't need an extra comma, Billy. You just need fluffy grey, fluffy comma grey pigeon stood on one leg. So you can edit that if you want to. That will be helpful.
Hindi from Bolton Parish. The exhausted playful cat. Do you know species, a variety of type? Could be a Siamese, for instance. That's another incident for name it. Mustafa, Bolton Parish, the feral giant loomed over the frightened civilians. Yep.
Yeah, Jasmine and Emma from St. Patrick's. The enormous blue whale towered over the mini school of fish. I'm not sure about the use of the word enormous because blue whales are, by their very nature, enormous. Yep. So it doesn't really add anything to the description of the blue whale. So what could you do? You could do the barnacle-covered blue whale. Work. The I don't know, actually. If it was angry, it could be angry. It was hungry. It could be hungry. It could be That's why it's towering over a mini school of fish. But what could the fish be? They could be sardines. I think do blue whales eat plankton? David? I did.
I think they do.
Yeah, I think they do. Right, okay. Generally really good.
That's
We need
better than we've had before on the first go.
Yes, it is actually. There's some very good
some good thinking going on.
yeah, and not many people missing the obvious, like full stops and things like that. So if you come out of the Padlet by using the back arrow at the top, and if you go back to the TeachingLive website, which I've inadvertently lost, so just bear with me 1 second.
Just whilst you're waiting there, nice one for you, Pi. Fraser and Sophie at St. Patrick's, the smart Pi Corbett waited on the leather couch. Nice.
Yeah, I love it because you've named it.
With his white cat in his lap.
Yes, stroking it well, Mr. Bond. Yeah,
right.
I love it.
So we're on the YouTube button has miraculously appeared now. So for the YouTube live stream. So having finished Padlet 1, we now move on to Padlet activity number 2.
So we've had a look at nouns and adjectives. So obviously now we're going to focus down on the verbs and the adverbs that go with them that sort of modify or slightly change. Adjectives slightly change nouns, they alter them. So you've got car, the shiny car. So it slightly change your view of the car. And the adverbs do the same with the verbs. They slightly change your understanding of the verb. So we say they modify them, they alter them. So let's have a look. I'll do the first one. And again, you can change words, add words in, take words out. Don't forget to do capital letter full stop. Mandy got hold of the glass goblet and swigged it quickly. So instead of got hold of, that word got, you've got to, it's a bit like speech. So words like got, came, said, went, these are ones where there are lots of different options and we can usually give the reader more information by choosing our verbs carefully. Got hold of the glass. So she's swigging it. So I think when she got hold of it, she went like that for it. So what would that be, John?
So you could use grabbed.
Yeah, or gripped, grabbed, gripped, grasped come to mind. And they've all got the benefit of the starting with a hard G, which gives you a touch of alliteration. So I would say that first one, Mandy grabbed the glass goblet and swigged it quickly. Well, swigging, if you're swigging something, it's you're doing it quickly anyway. So, and swigged is a bit of it's a sort of everyday speech word, isn't it? Really, it's not something that you would probably use in formal writing. Can you think?
Depends on the story, Pi, I think, doesn't it? If you were a pirate, you might well swig it.
Yes,
it depends on Mandy, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mandy grabbed the glass goblet and guzzled it.
Yeah, guzzled it, swigged it, guzzled it.
Guzzled it down, something like that. I'm not sure you need the quickly. That's my point. So I've had a go at the first one. I've tightened it up a bit, concentrated on making sure I've got really good. I'm worried in the second one, you see, went quickly. I think you can tighten that to one powerful verb. Same with Harry said loudly. I think you can tighten that up to one powerful one. Looked funnily. Well, I'll see. It'd be interesting to see what you come up with. You're only changing the underlined bits. Okay, John, on to the Padlet. I think we're away.
The same way, we'll go on, click on the Padlet button, and click on the plus sign. First name and school.
Don't bother with that first one, the Mandy one. I've done that one.
Yeah,
go straight into Bert.
Bert
went quickly.
Dashed.
Yeah. Through the forest. He's got to remember his capital letter and full stop. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And just change that one part. one I've replaced went quickly. And Bert scampered through the forest. Bert dashed swiftly. So that dashed swiftly.
All dashing is swift.
All dashing is swift. So does it add to it?
No, I don't think it does. But Bert sprinted, yes.
Bert bolted. Musa from Farsley Farfield, Cheyenne from Bolton Parish. Bert dashed through the forest. Bert ran in a flash through the forest from Alia from Farsley Farfield. Okay, there's more than one. There's a whole load of other sentences we could be doing. Harry said angrily, stop. I'm not sure about said, Zachariah. I think you can edit that and come up with a much more powerful verb than said.
Harry exclaimed harshly. From Harsher and Masher. Now, Bert dashed through the forest. Yeah, Bert sprinted. You don't need to say sprinted swiftly, because if you're sprinting, you're trying to go quickly. Ibrahim barged through the door. Rory grabbed a banana aggressively. Bert stammered while lurching through the forest.
Lurching through the forest. Interesting. Harry repeated urgently, stop.
Yep. Bert bolted through the forest. Bert dashed through the bushy forest.
Sarah from Frischkosh. Harry called, it should be ED, called out, stop. And you need a comma after called out.
Joshua from St. Pat's. Harry yelled, yep, at everyone to stop. Sophia. Evangeline rushed quickly, knowing she was in grave danger. Not sure you need the quickly, because you got rushed, and rushing is quick. It's like Scarlett from Codicott. You've got Bert bolted speedily. Well, bolting is going speedily, so I'm not sure you need the adverb. Whereas walked slowly, someone's got, that's Riley from Cornwall. Bert walked slowly through the forest. I think you could edit that one. Yeah, walked slowly, trudged, plodded, something like that. And you need a full stop, Riley. So double check that. Same with Jake. With your Mandy one, you need a full stop. So go back. Harry screams Sarim from Bolton Parish. Harry screams stop. You need a comma after screamed, but yes.
And Ramsey from Fishcross.
Yeah.
Harry yelled at the top of his lungs. Comma, you need there, Ramsey. Stop. Yes, I like that. That works really well. I'm going to pick a different sentence. Casey from Codicott. Mandy stared rudely at the white unicorn.
Yeah.
I have these pictures of unicorns taking offense at being stared at.
Yes.
How many times have we heard parents say it's rude to stare?
Yes, it is.
Farsley Farfield, Alaya, sorry if I said that incorrectly, said angrily. I like the way you've altered the spelling of stop, but I think you need an exclamation mark before you close the speech marks. But said angrily, snapped, roared, screamed, shouted, yelled. You could tighten that up.
Harry cried desperately, stop. I like that a lot. Evelyn from Codicott, that's really good.
I think a bit more.
As opposed to Harry shouted furiously, comma, Harim from Bolton Parish, stop. So cried desperately and shouted furiously. That both of those work.
What about Serene from Bolton Parish? Mandy rolled her eyes at the white unicorn. How about that one? That's an interesting one. It's the choice of the verb matters so much, John. It really is powerful.
Take Carter from Hilversum in Holland. Hello to Holland. Mandy gazed curiously at the white unicorn.
Yep.
That's one of the great things about Teaching Live, Pi, isn't it? We have children from Cornwall, we have children from Holland, we have children from, I don't even know where Farsley Barfield is, Codicott, all over the place, and it's great. St Patrick's is up in Scotland, I think. Maven Bruin, Bert swooshed through the giant forest trying to reach the end. So yeah, it's really fantastic that we have children, and schools make links through Teaching Live as well, because of their weekly engagement with each other. It's really good. So
I'm going Farsley Farfield. I reckon he's Leeds.
Is it?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Jacob from Pontersbury. Bert sprinted frantically through the dark, gloomy forest. Now
the dreaded dark and gloomy.
Yeah, dark and gloomy.
That's
hear
Pi and I's favourite, isn't it, Pi?
Yeah. So the problem there, Jacob, is dark and gloomy mean the same thing. I think of those two, I would go through the dark forest or the darkening forest. So it's sort of getting, or the shadowy forest, something like that. But dark and gloomy, watch out for that one. It's a bit of a cliche. Esme, Mandy glanced quizzically. How about that? Glanced quizzically.
That's really
well
good.
chosen. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I think we need to come out of that one, John.
Come out of this Padlet, and we need to go back to the session page. Go up to the top to the taster session page, and we are now on to Padlet number 3. So as you can see, we're doing a succession of quick fire writing sessions, which we do every week, culminating into a little bit of well, whether it's a homework task or a classroom task in the blog challenge. And we also sometimes have some a little bit of exposition, in the terms we sometimes have a PowerPoint presentation to cover what we're doing as well. So we'll go to Padlet number 3 now. Click on the Padlet number 3 button and tell us what we're doing, Pi.
Okay, so we're this is mainly adjectives. So what you do is, it's actually a whole paragraph. Barry stared at the burger. Outside the window, a wind swept across the something town, something cars, something to buy. On the promenade, newspapers tumbled along, driven by the wind. The sea rolled up the beach. It crashed against the rocks that fringed the shoreline. It's nearly all adjectives. I think the cars one, there's a verb. So what you've got to do is rewrite the sentences. But what I want you to do is to think, right, shall I create a negative or a positive view? So you look at that burger one. So all you're going to write is Barry stared at the, and then you're going to put in an adjective, the something burger. Now, if you're going to go for a positive one, you write juicy, or choose some adjective or a couple of adjectives that really make that sound a fabulous burger. Barry stared at the cheese-topped juicy burger, something like that. Or if you're going to go for negative, you're then going to think of, okay, Barry stared at the dry, leathery burger. So it doesn't sound nice at all. Now, if you're going to go for positive, stay with positive all the way through. If you're going to go with negative, stay with negative all the way through. So all you're doing is filling in the gap where I put a line and you're going negative or positive. And what it shows is, John, that just choosing your adjective carefully, you can create a really positive mood or a totally different and very negative mood. So I've done the first one for you. I would go for Barry stared at the dry, leathery, grey burger. I've gone for 3 adjectives, which is very rare for me. So start with the second one. Outside the window, outside the something window, a something wind swept across the something town. So you've got 3 adjectives there. Or you might decide to go for a couple. But if you go for a couple, make sure they don't mean the same sort of thing. Don't do a dark, gloomy window. Go for a dark window or a gloomy window. Okay, I think we're ready, John.
Okay, I'm going to go for outside the frosty window. A freezing wind swept across the. Now I'm going to be careful here because you could have freezing, frozen. It's repetition, isn't it, Pi? So you've got to be careful with repetition as well.
A bit of wind.
Desolate.
What about bitter wind? Outside the frosted window, a bitter wind swept across the desolate town. That's a negative one you've done, John.
Yeah.
That works for me. Okay.
So I'm going to do another one. I want to do a positive one this time. I'm going to go for.
So outside the tarnished window, a slow wind swept across the broken town. Musa, you've missed the full stop at the end. So knit back and you can edit that one. Let's go to those 3 grey dots in the top right-hand corner, click on those, click on the edit function, and then you can just get, oh, you've got the full stop. It's just appeared. Or is that I'm very old, John, and can't see it?
No, it did. They did edit it. I've just approved the edit.
That is superb work. Great work. We love it when people edit, because all good writers edit their writing for accuracy, but also in terms of the quality of it. George, scrumptious burger. Mustafa, tender and luscious. Class.
Just worth saying as well, Pi, when people do edit, it comes back to me to be reapproved. So if you have edited and it's not showing it, don't worry. I will approve it. It's just not got round to it yet.
So Hattie from Codicott, Barry stared at the delicious crispy burger. If you're listing adjectives, you need to put a comma between them, but not for the last one. Philip from Fishcross, Barry stared at the delicious, juicy triple deluxe burger. Delicious. You don't really need to you shouldn't capitalize those adjectives. The triple deluxe burger, if that's a proper noun, which it could be, because it's a specific burger, then you would need to capitalize the B for burger as well.
Mattia and Kabir have got a dusty burger.
James has got a sloppy, stale burger.
Oh.
Ibrahim from Boulder Parish, humongous. Don't like the word humongous in writing. It's not really a word. It's a sort of speech word. Giant, large, enormous,
colossal.
It's a good one, Pi.
Sky from Fishcross. Outside the broken window, comma, a strong wind swept across the dark town. So you creating a negative image.
William from Codicott. Outside the rain-splattered window, a bitter wind swept across the deserted town. I like that one, William.
Ooh.
One thing I would say here is you've created a new adjective by using rain-splattered. You can't join those two words together to make a new word. The rain splattered, so you would hyphenate that, and you'd put a hyphen between rain and splattered.
Yeah,
so
it's well done, though.
Splattered window, but it's great. Well done.
Charlotte from Farsley Farfield. It crashed against the grey barnacle-covered rocks. I'd do the same with barnacle-covered, John. I think I put a hyphen between those two. That fringe the ruffled shoreline. Nice piece of writing.
The gleaming chrome cars swished by. That's a fantastic sentence. Who wrote that? Oh, that was me. The gleaming chrome cars swished by. So note the comma between gleaming and chrome, but not after cars. So Mishka from Bolton Parish, the glass clear blue sea. The glass clear blue sea, or the glassy clear blue sea. You don't need a comma after clear. And you need to sort out whether it's glassy clear blue sea or the glass clear. If it was glass clear, you'd hyphenate it because you've made a new word.
Yeah, so Seren from Farsley Farfield's got the spine shivering hyphenated, which works nicely. Yumi from Codicott has got snow covered and badly built. Yeah, they're very good, this group. Having said that, Lucas from Fishcross, have a look at yours, Lucas. I think you need well, I don't think you need a full stop at the end of it. So just watch out for that, particularly if you're somebody who often forgets it. Liam from Codicott, I like your appetizing burger, but you need a full stop at the end. So you know how to do that. You can nip back and edit it. It's easy to miss off. We all make mistakes as writers. Kieran, outside the stained window, a whip of wind. Oh, I love that, John. A whip of wind swept a single small tear from the face of a young boy all across the abandoned town. Well, there's a bit of writing for you.
Yes, very good. Very good.
You're going to use that, Pi, aren't you? A whip of wind, I can tell.
It's a cracking phrase, a whip of wind, because it alliterates and it's got that slight sort of, sort of crack of a whip.
Outside the misty window, a rogue wind. I like the rogue wind.
Yes.
Very good, Jack. Swept across the red brick town.
And what's happening there, John, is they're surprising us by
Yes.
using their language carefully. And when you surprise the reader, you hold their attention. If you sort of do dark, gloomy, we've all heard it before, it does nothing for the reader, really. Outside the frozen window, a strong gust of wind swept past the doors of sleeping people. Now,
Rosalind Farsley Fastfield, the moonlight reflected sea rolled up the dark beach, which is nice. I wonder whether it would actually be moonlit reflected. The moonlight reflected sea, moonlit. I don't know, actually.
I think I'd go for moonlit, John.
Yes, I'd go for moonlit. It's the moonlit sea, yes.
Ben has got weather worn joined together with a hyphen. I think we'll take that as a nice. I like the way, Jack, you've the red Ferrari flew by the town. I like the way you've named that car Ferrari. It creates an image. I can see it, and it's red.
So Ruby from Fishcroft has tried to the wind so far has all been dismal and freezing and bitter, but Ruby's gone the opposite way. Outside the sparkling window, a gentle wind swept across the dazzling town. Not sure about dazzling is the only one. I might think of a different adjective to describe the town, but gentle winds fine, sparkling window absolutely fine.
Maria, well done with yours from Bolton Parish. Ivy and Millie, Barry stared at the dull burger. Outside the shattered window, a harsh gust of wind swept across the gloomy town. Old beaten-up cars drove by. On the mucky promenade, day-old newspapers tumbled along, driven by the thick gust of wind. The choppy sea rolled up the barren beach. It creates an atmosphere, John, through the choice of the adjectives. Well done, you two. Good go.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
The dark frothing sea crashed against the grey, weather-worn rocks. And you've hyphenated weather-worn. Well done, Ben. And I do like weather-worn. It's good. Yep. Okay, so we'll come out of that Padlet. So that's all the Padlet activities done for the day. So we will now go back to the session page, and we'll now look at the blog challenge. So what have you done here, Pi?
Well, I've tried to bring it all together. We've been looking at adjectives, making sure that we choose them with care. We sometimes surprise the reader with new information, making sure that we name it if we can. It's not a dog, it's a Rottweiler. It's not a car, it's a Ferrari. It's not the man, it's Boris Johnson. So we got the adjectives well chosen. Not telling the reader the same thing by saying dark
and gloomy.
Yes, exactly. Naming it, and then choose those verbs. Sometimes you don't need the adverb, and so went quickly can just be dashed. So choosing your verbs very, very carefully and making sure if you use an adjective or an adverb, it does actually surprise the reader by adding something new they didn't know. Okay, let's have a look at this piece. On an ornate table, someone had set out a luscious feast, with thick slices of juicy chicken, huge bowls of green salad, glass jars of fresh fruit, and silver plates of sweet puddings. Hundreds of tiny people were serving steaming pies, scarlet strawberries like gleaming embers, and tall glasses of creamy drinks. They were dressed in curious clothes, with scarlet cloaks, yellow shoes, and crimson caps. Poppy tried to talk to the tiny people, but they did not say a single word. So that atmosphere, that mood, that impression is very positive, isn't it? That feast sounds... I remember sharing that, John, in one school in Bristol, and this kid said to me, that sounds really... he said, it makes me feel peckish, he said. So the idea is, the challenge is, rewrite that, but create a different mood. So you've got to make it sound scary, really unpleasant, or depressing. So you've got to create, but you've got to stick to basically what's there. But you've got to, it's done with the adjectives mainly, the verbs, maybe the nouns. But instead of juicy chicken, you know, that word juicy needs altering. So that's the challenge, John.
It's trickier than you think, actually, this, because there is always a temptation to overwrite with this sort of thing. You've really got to choose your words carefully and have a read of it before you submit it. So underneath, so there's the text that we want you to rewrite. Underneath there's a form which says create your grammar, your blog post, put a title in, my paragraph, whatever you want, really. Write your blog post in this box. What we actually recommend you do is do it in a word processor and copy it and paste it into the box, just in case the internet goes down or you have any kind of thing. We've actually got there should be a box that says type your school name in and not a list of ticks, and I will change that after the session so that you've got the a space to write your school name in. Then you just click to consent to the privacy policy and click submit. And it goes in, and just like the Padlets, it goes into moderation and then appears on the blog under pupil posts at the top. So you'll see pupil posts and you'll be able to find your posts there. So take that text, you can even copy and paste it, and if you want to, into your word processor, and then rewrite it to change the mood from this lovely, delightful party scene to, it might be cold and miserable, it might be abandoned, it might be something strange about the party. It could be a party of ghosts or something. I seem to remember in Harry Potter there's Harry goes to a one of the ghosts, I can't remember the name of the ghost, nearly headless Nick's birthday party, and it's quite gruesome the way it's described. That's the kind of thing we're after, isn't it, Pi?
Absolutely. Create a different mood, make it scary, build the tension, make it sound really unpleasant that this feast and all the people at it were nasty. Okay, so that's whipped by John.
Yes. Teachers, very quickly, we will send you an email after this session to give you more information about our Teaching Live grammar sessions and how to subscribe. We'll also give you an extra discount for taking part today. So look out for that email. And our sessions will start after Easter. All the dates are on the Teaching Live website. And we hope you can join us for the summer season of Teaching Live Grammar. It's been great fun this morning. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, bye, everyone. Well done. Great work.
Yep, goodbye, everyone. The Padlet is all up to date, so do go back and have a look. And it'd be great if you can join us for the summer term. Well done, everyone. So
Farsley Farfield are waving at you, Dave, because I said that you two were from Leeds. So that they sent you a wave to say that they enjoyed it very much. So thank you, everybody for taking part. Thank you from Fishcross as well. We've loved having you. We will hopefully see you all after Easter. If not, have a great Easter break, and we'll, if you do subscribe, we'll see you in the summer.